This is love. This is pain disguised as a dream. Hello, everybody. Yeah, just felt like throwing one on. How are you all doing? Omni collective creativity just popping in for a bit. And we are live with five people to go. I'm suffering from a bad mouth ulcer. Ugh. Oh, look at this. God damn. It's like, ow. It hurts so bad. Just so bad. Can you hear me okay? I've been having problem with the goddamn microphone shutting off. So now I've just unplugged my loving old snowball mic and I have to make do with this computer's internal mic, which I hope is good. I don't care much about image quality, but I really care about sound quality. So yeah. All right, let everyone get in and everybody call your friends, call your significant others, and get everyone in here while I turn on some lights and presentable. Yes, everybody, 9 people. Well, it's not only 9 people, it's actually 10 people. And just think about it. Like if you just say, hey, who's outside, all of a sudden in the middle of the week, and 10 people showed up, that would be a house party. Cheers. Let's get settled in. I hope you're doing all right. The world certainly is not doing all right. Felidae says they are listening at the final hour of your work. Well, Godspeed and have a nice time at work. I'm guessing you're one of my American subscribers. And hello to the good old US of A. Let me just eat this and energize, and then we'll be good to go. Like the 4 liquid breakfast, there's also a 3 solid energizing dinner, which is 1 bar of chocolate, 1 cup of coffee, 1 hit of Nurofen, ibuprofen for the mouth ulcer. Plus, I got a rather fancy bowl of fruit. How cool is that? Oh my God. My brother from another mother, my good friend Alp, is cooking döner in his dorm room in the esoteric Turkish city of Kütahya. Bon appetit. I got a cool tip for you. Get some butter, and just towards the last 3 minutes of your cooking, put the butter in there. It will be a completely different story. God damn. What a fucking week, huh? I mean, in this day and age, I've been trying to stay silent about the Middle Eastern atrocity crisis. But both when those terrorists killed those innocent people and also when they bombed down all those poor innocent people in that, especially in that hospital, I was gripped with emotions so strong that I could only say that the opinions I have on this matter are shared by a great number of people. What are you working on right now? Well, welcome to CM Kozeman Midweek Madness stream, where we discuss in a small, cozy group of friends many things about science, life, society, history, and every weird thing under the sun. If you're just coming in, please consider supporting me on patreon.com. And there are also a few links for the merch store. And I also got a Buy Me a Coffee account which you can make one-time donations. And that's that. Plus, I've also launched a commissions campaign today, and slots are filling up fast. Actually, I'm very happy with the way it's going. Many people are sending in concepts which I get to illustrate, so that's cool. It costs a bit, but that's the value of my labor. To all artists, I say, when you're doing commissions, take the minimum wage in your country, okay? Multiply it at least with 3, and then divide it by the works, divide it by the days in the month. And even when you work an hour, you should get at least 3 times the minimum salary per day. So price yourself accordingly. It must be strange and stressful to you to have have wars in both north and south of your country. North, south, southeast, southwest. It's all around the world these days. And it makes me feel 2 things. One of them, many people like to complain about their homeland. I think it's like a perk you get. Like, when you're a citizen of a country, when your future is invested in there, you get the right to complain. So I don't have anything against that. That being said, the educated, liberal, upper middle classes in Turkey they take complaints into a new form of bitchiness. Whereas you turn around and look at all the wars and genocide and shit happening all over the place. And yeah, it's an imperfect country. I wouldn't argue with that. Yeah, it's imperfect. But man, does it feel good to have a homeland? Even if you get to starve, at least, you got like, I don't know, people walking in this. I mean, life is hard. This country's economy is not very good, but still, what a relief to have a homeland, don't you think? And the second point, especially the Israel-Palestine crisis reminds me of, is the unfortunate fate of societies. Middle classes and lower classes belong to different nationalities, different religions, and they all fall apart. And this was actually a case with Israel. I mean, it's the country with the most college degrees per capita in the world, if I'm not mistaken. And all these poor people in the Palestinian territories, they get to do the plumbing, they get to do the cooking for home cooked meals, they get to do the gardening. And granted, there are caveats, but TK Sivgin says, the second I jump into the stream, we are already talking about the Hamas-Israel conflict. Yeah, it's like that big war scene in episode 3 of the Star Wars prequels, like, dunk, dunk, dunk. But no, actually, this is the most I'll say about the matter, because it's just so grim that it's very easy to opine when the blood is fresh on the pavement. But sometimes you keep it out of your radar out of respect. And that's what I'm doing. And also to TK Sivgin, I do have some illustrations coming for you. I can't tell you how much shit is going on, but I promise you at least one more you're going to get soon. Bleatnik Gaming says today is hump day somehow. We got 15 people. I don't know. I got a big ulcer in my mouth, and I was actually feeling kind of fluish, so I don't feel like humping anything. I just took some Nurofen. You know what Nurofen does to the pumping system down there? Kills your sex drive, makes you more energetic and frantic and sweaty, and like alleviates infections and shit, but you pay a price, man. You pay a price. 3 a.m., says Mondo Endargon. Is it 3 a.m. where you're at? Where the hell are you, man? Where is it 3 a.m.? Papua New Guinea? How are you doing, everyone? We got almost 20 people in the middle of the week. Now, only an idiot looks up and complains that they have got a low number of subscribers. I always like look at what I have, and I got the undivided attention of nearly 20 people, which is quite valuable. Everybody's time is valuable. So thank you for being here. 21. I'm just going to ask you if you got Discords and like, I know what you young people are using, Discords, Instagram chats, or OnlyFans or stuff. I'm just going to ask you, invite all your friends in right now. Let's get some more people in here. Let's see what it's like. And yeah, imagine 20 people in my room. It would be a crowd. I don't know, people would be like rummaging through the library and like playing with the collectible figures, playing with the soldier of God back there. 23, 25. Wow, we're hitting records. It's going great, David Gurola. Plus, I think there's something to be had. Like I'm listening to all these live streams with these YouTubers with thousands of stream viewers, and it's like a non-stop static of text, and you can't really engage with anybody. But now, with a few select group of people, it's an individual level of attention. All right, let's do a roll call. Where are you all calling from? Let me know. Let's do a represent kind of thing. Gathered here at CM Kozman HQ, Istanbul. Oh, we got Leso JD from Poland. Represent, and congratulations on getting rid of those PIS guys. Carno Sastre is from Alberta, Canada. Nice. Mondo is from Philippines. Oh, okay, so it is 3 a.m. where you are. When you're doing an all-nighter, you gotta drink. Get in there. Absent Fish is from Essex. Nice place. David Grola is from OC, California. Oreosaurus from Australia. Home to emus. Proud victor of the emu wars. Bleatnik Gaming is from Texas. It's almost like an other country. It's a huge state. It's a nice part of the US, by the way. Not gonna lie, would love to live there. Lezo JD is in the greatest nation in the world, but there's hundreds of countries which consider themselves the greatest nation in the world. Come to think of it, it would have to be a strange country. Oh, we're not so good. Like, imagine a country that knowingly bans that lie each country tells themselves. Manos Spondidus is from Phrygia. People's Republic of Kanukistan, Canada. Squid Lord is from Melnibone. Is that like a pun on Marylebone or Melbourne? I don't know. Fanny Dice is from Texas, but it's there in Mississippi. Great. Mondo Endargon is studying at 3 a.m. in the Philippines for exams tomorrow. Best of luck. Are you gonna go? So here's an interesting thing with all-nighters before exams. If you pull an all-nighter, don't sleep, then go, you'll actually make it through the exam. Then you'll crash and burn and get fucked. But if you pull an all-nighter and at 5 a.m. say, oh, I guess I could sleep just a little, and go to sleep, You enter the shit zone. It's like a legit like thing in the human sleep cycle. You have the heaviest sleep, the most vivid dreams. And when you wake up, you feel like you haven't slept for an entire week. It's like a really fucked up, like circadian rhythm bending, evil thing. So if you have exams, just like it's like taking an arrow through the wound. If you pull it back, the barbs on the arrowhead are gonna like, but you have to push it through, take it out on the other end, and that's done. Fancy Simp says exactly, probably about the sleep thing. Oreosaurus says sleep is overrated. When you're young, it is. When you're when you're over 25, come again and we'll talk again. Kutaya represents, says Fancy Simp. Cheers. Now you see TK Sivgin was pretending to be from Phrygia. This guy right here, Fancy Simp, is from like Phrygia proper. Like he's in Phrygia. He's gonna sleep inside Phrygia tonight. How cool is that? After he having his butter flavored doner extravaganza. I had a good night's sleep in the last night for the first time in a while. And many people are like this these days. Sometimes me too. The trick is not to have a smartphone around. Just go to sleep, like do it like a task. Our minds were not created to be online 24/7. We just need some downtime every now and then. Cheers. Stay hydrated. Now, I'm going to be like harsh Daddy Kozman, and I'm going to command you, slaves, get some water and stay hydrated. I bombard myself with blue lights as Squid Lord. Yeah, all the slaves and simps are getting water like you should. Eril Enerji, whose nickname in Turkish means masculine energy. And I'll also do a caveat. This word eril and also its feminine counterpart dişil appeared in popular Turkish conversation in the last like 5 years. It's the sort of kind of gimmicky urban way to say masculine. Oh, everybody used to say erkeksi. Come on, what is eril? I'm not throwing shade on your name, by the way. It's just a general thing. Like, what is dişil? It's kadınsı. Have more class. But Eril Energy says, do you believe love? Yeah, I believe in love. And all I can say is like when it happens, you feel it. And also there are different kinds of it too. There's a kind of love when there's a kind of in which you want to support the other person, be with them. That's like the cozy kind of love. There's also another kind of love in which you want to like tear them apart like a praying mantis eating the face of its victim and then put them back together. That's the like mutually destructive, intense sort of love. Then there's the love you feel for your parents, the love you feel for your siblings, the love you feel for close friends. I have love for you guys. It's a special sort. It comes in different flavors. But my recommendation, don't die without experiencing the praying mantis face eating kind of love. You feel really alive when that happens. All right, if you want, let's get questions. Butter is burning my hands. Did you boil the butter and are you trying to split on it? No, you just throw the lumps on them and let them. No. One day I should do videos for home cooking shit. All the hearts are coming out of my comments thing. It's so nice. Actually, one of the best descriptions of love comes from that amazing Gary Newman song I was singing in the beginning of this stream. It goes, "This is love. This is pain disguised as a dream. Pain disguised as a dream." That's one of the most apt depictions of love. What is Phrygia about, says Fancy Simp. It's a long, long story, but one of the best go to subjects about Phrygia would have to be this book. Where is it? Just bear with me. This book is called In the Land of a Thousand Gods, A History of Asia Minor from Ancient. Like, this is basically from prehistory until the formation of Byzantium. All of Anatolia's history right here. And we have lots of sources about Ottoman history, Byzantine history. But before that, like what exactly happened in Roman years, in the Hellenistic era, or before that, like there's centuries with Hittites and stuff. And basically, Phrygia was one of the kingdoms that made up Anatolia or parts of Western Anatolia. And they had inscriptions like this. These are their letters, these are their decorations. It's very interesting that traditional Turkish carpets, rugs, and like handcrafts still use similar patterns. And this is one of their goddesses, which I always found very scary. Kibele, scary mother goddess next to these flutists and minstrels. And these things look like humans. So if they're like humans, then is this lady like 7 meters tall? It's very, very scary. We are going to do a presentation about Phrygia and all the rest with TK Sirgin. So I'm not giving away. But if you're interested in the history of Asia Minor or Turkey, have to get this book, Marek in the Land of a Thousand Gods. I think you can even find it on pirate sites, but I'll just put this back. What about sea monsters? I want to hear something about weird aquatic cryptozoology, says Absent Fish. Oh, well, I'll just have to put back. Oh, shit. Well, I'll just have to put back the book about Anatolian history. I'll just have to put back the book about Anatolian history. Book about sea monsters, monsters of the sea. Ellis, it's a scientifically literate study of sea monsters. And, well, it's just a great, great book. Well, what can I say? There was this tradition called Jenny Hanivers, which are like monsters that look like this. And like half fish, half reptile creatures. Turns out they're all skates and rays, just cut out in like really cruel forms and let to dry. These are the nostrils. They look like a face. So it's a very cruel practice. One of the many interesting things in this book. And that's the beautiful thing about having an IRL reference library. I've been cultivating this for like 35 years almost. Since I was old enough to read, I actually collected books, and it's a great scene for conversations and just banter, and just like you can argue with evidence and show people strange things and dazzle them. So that's nice. Did you hear about the pharaoh who purportedly conquered Anatolia and Scythia? Yes, my good friend um, Trade the Explainer made a video about Sesostris, and in this amazing video in which he kept misspelling Sesostris as Sesostritis, he told about this legend of this very powerful pharaoh who apparently conquered all the world known at the time. And this was reported in Herodotus. Just a second. Of course, I also have Herodotus histories right here. I actually read it from cover to cover, which is no mean task because it's a very, very slow reading book with lots of interesting tidbits in between. Basically, this pharaoh conquered all the world, and go watch Trader Explainer's video about it. I'm not going to snipe any viewers from him. Okay, enough library pimping. I wanted to say I really love the Lystrosaurus causing a mass extinction theory. Thank you. I haven't left Earth, says Caden Slinker. So I don't think I can what life on other planets might be like in a form of extreme skepticism. How often do you think about the Roman Empire? Almost never. But I think daily about how the Ottomans destroyed its last vestige. I don't know, this Roman pump up thing, like Rome was a great classical civilization. This right wing quasi fascist tech bros, they've turned it into bubblegum for their own fantasies. There's this fantasy of the Roman centurion going around and doing what must be done. And it all boils down to like their depraved political views. I don't think Romans were boring. They're like fascinating ancient civilization. There's lots we still don't know about them, but there's a lot about the Romans which really resonates with, like, if you live in Asia Minor or Greece or Middle East or Mediterranean countries, they seem to have had this sense which still persists in those parts of the world. I also wouldn't go around hating on Rome just because all these assholes are loving it, you know? I hate the assholes. And the rest is not my problem. Overrated civilization, says Leso JD. Maybe, maybe not. I mean, all these fantasy people, you know, they think about Rome, they think about either emperors or like centurions, and then they don't think about the common people in Rome. And I think that's the most fascinating thing about it. They don't think about the dye makers or like the prostitutes or people begging at the doors of temples. If you watch some of my videos on my channel, there's one about Glycon, which was a charlatan snake cult in ancient Rome, and that's very interesting. And one nice thing about Rome I can say is that in Rome itself, there's this monument called, this is not something many of those like more Roman Empire assholes would know. In the in the city of Rome proper, there's a ruin called the bread maker's tomb. And it belongs to a man who used to be a slave who then bought his freedom and established a bread making like bakery or something, and somehow made the right connections and actually grew quite rich to such a degree that when he died, he could afford this really elaborate tomb. Now, despite all its cruelty, that's a form of social mobility that people in that part of the world did not really know or experience for centuries afterwards, perhaps until the 19th century, even. So, if Rome had any good contributions to the world, for a brief time, that was it, like the potential, the opportunity to for the apple not to fall right below the tree, like so. And ancient Rome is full of stories like this. And of course, none of those assholes would know because they only know this like smattering, like microfilm thin layer of like military stuff. Marcus Aurelius, lost legions, barbarians, and stuff. And for example, there were Arabs who were Roman emperors. So imagine a person of Arabic descent being the president of the EU these days. Or I don't know. If you want to learn more about Rome, actually, I recommend, it's too heavy and too far away, but there's this like big doorstopper of a book called the Oxford Dictionary of Classical Civilization, and it lists encyclopedically, it lists everything about ancient Greece and Rome, including religion, festivals, daily life, women's lives, kids' lives, rituals, emperors. And it's a big encyclopedia. So just leaf through it and read things, and you really like learn up on this fascinating, enormous heritage in the Mediterranean world. Oh, it's been half an hour already. What do you think about Serena? Haha, you ask me this question every stream, and I think I've told my opinions. It's great. So we started from Phrygia and we went to all these places. So thanks for asking me these questions. Fernando says, I have given one of my crab characters the ability to throw anything and turn it into a projectile. So basically, he's a tank now. How does he throw them so fast, though? Does he have like a built-in cyclotron or something? What are your thoughts on federated forms of anarchy like platformism? Anarchy is viable as a form of government in any form. But here's my thing. Certain individuals in society at times may want to live in such a modality. And actually, in science fiction literature, there are many stories like this. One of them is called A Free Park by Larry Niven. And in the story, the cities have these free parks in which complete anarchy reigns. And you can do anything you want, like do drugs, whatever. It's like a libertarian anarchist utopia. You can do anything except hurt other people. If you like hurt other people, there are like drones flying over the park and they'll zap you with a tranquilizer beam. So you can do anything unless you attack somebody. But in this story, one day, The robot drones break down. And then this quasi hippie anarchism turns into a real form of anarchy with violence in it. And then it becomes like a head trip, this story. I think it was called A Free Park by Larry Niven. So Niven. Go read it. Imagine there were 1,000 people here. That would be fun. I'd be getting more donations, and I could always use more donations. I would have to pick and choose questions though. And then in doing that, I would also have to answer, I would also have to set time limits. But yeah. Will the US be divided like modern Europe 1,000 years from now? 1,000 years is a long time. I mean, probably, certainly, but it won't be in any form or shape that we can even imagine now. Many people have these like fake ass scenarios in which US gets divided. It's the Trump people in the heartland, and then the Democrats in city states, and then there's a like somewhere, but you can never predict these things. It is already divided socially. I mean, people almost live. I mean, on one hand, you got people unable to pay student loans or hospital bills. On the other hand, you got people, I don't know, buying $1,000 footballs for their dogs. Hello, says Joseph. I don't know. There's always this like fetishistic urge to like divide. The US gets divided, they fall apart. But I think it's like one of the most robust countries in this current day and age, despite its like awful problems. They got a rising population. They got full spectrum military dominance over the world. They got almost full spectrum cultural dominance over the entire planet. Everybody wants to move there, or like most people, given the opportunity, would like to move there. They have all the natural resources they need. So if things went to hell, they could really like button up and like stay indoors for a few decades. They have, they can feed themselves, which is a great, one of like almost the only thing in the world actually that matters to be a great power. They can feed themselves. And so I don't see them losing that dominance anytime soon. In Europe, their populations are crashing. China's population is going to crash. They're not going to go extinct, by the way, just going to dip and stabilize, but that's all. US Americans are just bored and make problems for themselves, not going to lie. Yeah, it's kind of true. It's kind of true. What is your ideology? I read somewhere that you were an anarcho-primitivist. I don't know. I never formulate this thing. Like the whole idea that you will have one ideology like a pill or like a fucking product, and everybody taking that thing will change their way of life. And then if enough people take the right product, everybody will be happy forever. Do you not see how many blind prejudices formed by contemporary consumer culture nestle at the roots of this fallacious assumption? First of all, can people really change their minds about anything? This whole marketplace of ideas, like, can you really buy or sell ideas? Can you really buy or sell ideologies? Or think about it, do these things happen because of the way you live and who you are and of your background and like basically how your parents were forced to live, the options available to them, the options available to you? Just think about it. This whole thing is a very like college debate kind of thing. Like, if we debate hard enough, if we buy and sell ideas hard enough, maybe we will find a nice ideology. And if everybody takes this, also, people are not consistent throughout their lives. And it's perfectly normal for somebody to like live in a certain mode in one part of their lives and then change, grow. My ideology is the ideology of neyse boş ver. But I think I know who would call me an anarcho-primitivist and why, because I'm inherently skeptical of technology. I had these videos where I voiced my pretty well-grounded and intense skepticism of like the possibility of colonizing Mars or traveling. Plot reveal, none of them are ever going to happen. And maybe because of that, I was called a technoskeptic and anarcho-primitivist. I personally think technology creates more problems than it solves. But then again, I might be wrong. I read a paper saying that when the continents join together in a new supercontinent again, temperature would be too high for many mammals, thoughts. I read that too. Look, when the continents drift apart, like we're talking about enough time for continental drift to close the Pacific Ocean, okay? Crash everything back together again. Millions of years. Do you think mammals are just going to sit there? They're going to evolve, they're going to adapt to the heat. It's a bullshit paper. I think the headline was like cherry picked by some bored science writer somewhere. I don't buy it. Do you think agriculture is the leading cause of man-made climate change today? I don't know. It probably would have to be fossil fuels, no? Although apparently cow farts and methane are a big deal in that too. But how much of this is like exacerbated by human activities? I'm also like, I mean, if people had remained at Stone Age level, we may have been still be seeing a high temperature in these days, but maybe it would not have been sloping as hard. Yeah, mammals can adapt to high temperatures. They can even become ectothermic. So fuck that story. Most plausible form of life on space is an O'Neill cylinders in high Earth orbit. Yes. So these are like, I think, cylinders the size of cruise ships. They rotate, and like people can like somehow live in them, like a forever airplane journey. Would that not be fun? But yeah, it's plausible. But anything beyond that, not gonna happen. What do you think about Oswald Spengler and his theory of civilizations? Hot one, huh? So Oswald Spengler, he was like a kind of Nazi adjacent thinker who basically has many claims, but chief among them is the civilizations have a spirit of their own. So there's like a Germanic civilization and maybe a Turkic civilization and maybe a Chinese civilization. And these are somehow founded not on material things, but on basically the soul of the people making up those civilizations. In a nutshell, I mean, I think he also says like things to the effect of like he gives them strange names, like so the Mediterranean civilization that also included Rome was an Apollonian civilization. It had the perfect balance to him, maybe between technological industry, reason, logic, and also more like flesh and bone human parts of life. Eastern civilizations, to him, he had a weird name for them too, but he thought they were like too zealous and like they did not value reason enough. And also, he said the Western world, like UK, Americas, and Anglo world, basically, was a Mephistophelian civilization after Mephistopheles, the demon. And these guys had the logic level so cranked up that they had essentially become demonic. Their civilization was a soul crushing, self destructive event. And I mean, I think he has kernels of truth there, but also you could take these assumptions like sometimes you really feel these things, like, especially in certain pivotal moments at the times of crisis, that you really feel like there's a collective spirit of maybe your country or like your part of the world. But it's like a hazy dream. Like if you try to articulate it, it loses its splendor. So I don't know. Also, Spangler is very popular among the race. So that's not enough grounds to cancel him. But like when you read these esoteric theories, always read them like with an objective, open mind. And so read it not as like, maybe think about why this guy is thinking this way. Like, when was he writing these? In which day and age? And then the conclusions you get might be more interesting. Oh, this mouth ulcer is killing me. Oh, look at it. It got bigger, I swear. Oh, fuck. Ask more questions while I do some, I apply some topical medicine on this. I'll be right back. I'll do a tea refill. I'll do some medicine. I'll be back. Questions? I'll let this painting entertain you while you wait for me. Huh. This is love. This is pain disguised as a dream. Did you miss me? Oh, lots of questions. Okay. I painting I've been painting many things like this these days. Uh since you come so far, let me show you one more. This is a nice one. Have you heard the fluting in the night? Have you heard the fluting in the night? Don't you stop. The flutist is out tonight. Na 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 na. Yeah. Anyways, I'm just being silly. Is the stream lagging or no? Okay, let's see who commented. Have you heard of the Zantredi of from Robotech anime? No, I haven't. Sorry, haven't watched it. Which ancient deity is the most based? There are many. The South American Moche civilization seemed to have had a god called the Decapitator, which was imagined somewhat in the shape of a spider. So that's a cool one. I don't know if it's based, but it's really, really cool. Have you seen National Geographic's extraterrestrial series? I haven't seen it. It must be nice though. Snayad, the documentary. One day, the book is on the way, by the way. I was just drawing flying animals this very evening. And people are talking about the documentary Extraterrestrial. I must watch it. If Sega made a new video game console, would you buy it? Yes. But I'd like it to have cartridges or CDs or something, you know. I don't like downloading shit. I mean, I don't know. Oreosaurus says once the Snide book comes out, we will have to buy it immediately. If Constantine only adopted Prometheism, was there such a fate, Prometheism? Prometheus is the Betis, firebringer. I mean, okay. Is it really up to one guy, one emperor, and his choice of gods? Don't you think Constantine became Christian in order to placate the growing threat of Christianity within the empire? Because I think after Constantine, there was another emperor, Julian the Apostate, who tried to bring back the old ways but failed. You know, maybe that kind of religion did not have street cred left anymore. Would you read a love story between Trilobite and an Anomalocaris? It depends on the story, maybe. What the hell is Prometheism? I never heard of it. I knew there were like several different faiths trying to compete with Christianity, including, I think, the strongest contender was Mithraism, which was very popular among the military. I wonder why it never took off. Prometheism. I'm googling it now. In ethics, it's an individual's voluntary subordination of the self. Once again, very noble. But these ideas, these religions, they mostly apply to people who have the luxury to think about their ideology, or like it's a religion that applies to intellectual people. But also there was a it's a political project too. I mean, I see the appeal of this, like carrying the fire, and it's just one of the. So I'm only Wikipediaing, but there does not seem to be a religion called Prometheism. Prometheus, of course, was known during those days, but was he an allegorical figure? I don't think he was a god that was available for like widespread worship. I don't know. And then in the 19th century, there's a political ideology called Prometheism. Its aim is to weaken the Russian Empire and sort of create an alternative tangent forms of international progressivism. I don't know. Out of my league. Will you get the Furaha book? Yeah, when it comes out, I'll definitely get it. Furaha is by Gert van Dijk. It's a planet with six-legged animals. I'm really looking forward to that book. Squidlord says Prometheism was a West and NATO-pilled religion. Probably. How many Sniad species? I think over 500 now. Not giving many plot reveals. Oh, well. Maybe. I'm always sketching about Sniad, by the way. Always sketching, drawing. If I like a sketch, I make it bigger. And here's one of the latest creatures I've been sketching. It's this kind of digging creature with this kind of tweezer-like second jaws. And this is just like to dig, basically. I like this. Maybe I'll make it like canonize. How would humanity develop if they had started out in a ring world instead of our globe world? Well, ring worlds, are they plausible? The tensile strength of the material is like impossibly strong. But suppose something like that, there would be there would be as many species of people as there are beetles or flies, because a ring world is like over like 2 billion times the surface area of Earth or something. Shrimp, yeah. Mm-hmm. I'm having these white specks of my beard. I'm getting old. Donut-shaped planets are theoretically possible, but yeah, but the ring world is as wide as the solar system. So the way that thing spins and it carries the weight of continents and oceans in it, it's just physically not possible to have that material. In the book, even in the books, this is acknowledged. They say it's like a form of advanced matter that only like some super godlike species can create. What about an Alderson disk? Is that the disk that's like a Petri dish with rockets at the bottom? Once again, these are too complicated to exist. What if one rocket breaks down? It wobbles and like you could have something like that, maybe like the size of Singapore or something. Okay, but even that is too big. Like even in zero gravity stuff wobbles. Like I mean, if you have like a imagine this is like a big space thing. Okay, imagine it's a few kilometers long, and you're moving it. It doesn't move like this, but it actually wobbles and like there's so many like instabilities inherent with these structures. Fernando Catecaix is outlining his crab creatures in his book. Okay. The crab lord blessed the crab priest. What is your favorite movie? It okay, so yesterday, hot on the heels of this Gaza humanitarian disaster, I was watching clips from Steven Spielberg's Munich. Again, shows what a genius filmmaker Spielberg is. And there they have a part where one of the characters says, like, I mean, it's about the Israeli Secret Service killing Arab terrorists who organized the Munich Olympics massacre. But as they proceed with their mission, they slowly drift out of basically they lose who they were. And one of the characters says, like, I can't recognize who I am anymore. We did not stand for this. So very, very brave messages in there. It's one of my favorite movies. Other contenders might be the original Blade Runner, the original Alien, the Thing by Joe Carpenter. So Fernando Catecaix is outlining all these crab stories. When and where can we read this amazing story? 27 people. It's our record for tonight. Hello, everybody. Any newcomers, identify yourselves. Which part of the world are you from? Let's know and let's have a shout out session. I must go, sadly, says idle speculation. Yeah, I'm getting tired too. I'll stay for another half hour though. Chuck Shul is from Turkey. Hey yo yo. As bayrakları as. Fernando is from Illinois. Scotland. Dan McAleer. Goto, Poland based. Congratulations for your election again. I wish we had one like that. Hmm. Oh, sorry. The drugs I've been taking, which are like cold medicine and mouth ulcer medicine, they're really making me sleepy. It's doing a cow seed world. Peter's channel is from Brazil. Represent. A cow seed world is just going to be, well, it's going to be interesting, huh? Soon you'll have cow rats and stuff. Oh, sorry for yawning so much. Methane everywhere from the cow farts. Getting these tears in my eyes. Yeah, I think my body is telling me to go to bed soon. When and why and how did you leave Turkey? I haven't left. I'm broadcasting from there. In fact, everybody around me always throughout my life urged me to like, you belong to the States, blah, blah, blah. I always like refused their concerns because what am I going to do if I move to the United States, work, or like, I don't know, pay taxes and shit? I like the fact that in Turkey life gives you less options, but you also have time to yourself. Everywhere in the developed world, people are like rushing, scrambling like rats. They're so integrated into the system, which rewards them, okay, but they don't have the luxury of stopping. Here you have it. I was talking about this earlier in the stream, Chuck Schul. You might compare this homeland to a prison, but at least look at the world around the region. Everywhere there's a war, ethnic cleansing, genocide, or some shit. Here we have like stasis or stability. As an Iranian friend once said, um, Azadi yok, emniyet var, they said, like, so not much freedom, but you're safe. And that has value of its own. Especially in this day and age. Many problems which you think are unique to Turkey. I've lived outside of Turkey. I lived in the States, in the UK. For 2 years, I was like, I lived and worked in Italy. They have very similar problems. Yeah, like Gaza is a open air prison. Knock on wood. Tahtaya vur, şükretmeyi öğren. Of course, if you are from Turkey and you have made it big outside of Turkey, then I can only be proud of you. I'm not didactic about this. Good evening, says Gabriel. Good evening. I don't see hyper carnivorous humans. Like, what was it? The Sweeney Bean family or the Sweeney Todd family? There was this like historic urban legend about a tribe of cannibals living in cliffs near Scotland, in cliffs caves, and they catch and eat people passing through the roads, and they're so horrible that they're like extirpated at the end. Open air prisons should stay in Attack on Titan. It's horrifying that one exists in real life. Yes, very sad. I mean, there are many comparable experiences. There's a science fiction story, by the way. There's a science fiction book called The Dosadi Experiment. It's by Frank Herbert, same guy who wrote Dune. And I have this book. I still haven't read it cover to cover. It's back in there somewhere. It's basically a small strip of land that's home to like 500 million people, the size of Gaza, but like home to 500 million people. And in the book, a race of nefarious aliens are like doing this experiment. They're crowding these people together in this tight space and actually are controlling their evolution. And they hope that it will create super strong, like extremely advanced individuals who are like extremely resilient. The Dosadi experiment, Dosadi experiment. Go read it. Could Smilodon adapt to a more arboreal life? in the Amazon similar to jaguars? I don't know. Didn't some of those saber-toothed cats have like plenty great feet, so they actually walked on their heels like bears again? So I don't think climbing is very viable for them. Let's check some questions from other messages. Oh, more local debate stuff. What if we find a new island where there's a tribe of sapient creatures that are not human? An island with parrots in it, maybe? Chuck Schull says, I look like a person who left Turkey after the infamous Gezi Park protests. I just have that type. I don't know. Like, sorry to burst your bubble, but I had a very critical and low opinion of those protests when they happened. In 2013, there were these big protests in Turkey against the government. They started for the right reasons, but they quickly degenerated into a virtue signaling parade by, once again, college educated dumb people. And it also became like a festering ground for like actual on the ground terrorists. And they weren't going to accomplish anything, but at least it was nice for a few weeks. There was a total freedom in that one part of Istanbul, but I don't think it was going to change anything from the beginning. If you're looking for stories about islands with sapient creatures, go read Fragment by Warren Fahey. That's Warrenfahey. Warren Fahey. Yeah, I was actually. I think I could be proud. Gezi ilk 3 günü iyiydi, and yeah. You see, that's what I don't get about this thing. Like, that's perhaps one of the few and under noticed problems in the way people think in this part of the world. These Gezi Park protests were like a bunch of hippies and like left wing people frolicking in a park, opposing the cutting down of trees. So and their hearts are in the right place. Don't get me wrong. Then, like, the prime minister comes and calls them a bunch of, the word was chapulcu. So then the juvenile, puerile memes begin. Chapuling every day. What are, this is what one of the things that people don't do right in this part of the world. You see, concepts or ideas or things are like the tea inside this mug, and the words we use with them are like the handle. In this part of the world, the mug has a handle that's like this big, and there are maybe 2 drops of substance in it. Style over substance, names over deeds. That's why the problems which you think you see are not problems, and it would not have changed any other way. Because the whole way people deal with each other and the way people parse the world and interact with the world is just based on like a very, very superficial understanding of life. Still not bad enough for me to want to leave the place, though. All right, last 15 minutes, everybody. I hope you had a great time and I hope you enjoyed my rants. I look angry and hot and sexy because this mouth ulcer keeps hurting my mouth and it hurts, and so I wince. And I don't know. People just look sexier when they're having a bad time, I guess. Any more questions? How could modern animals survive the Mesozoic period? Well, maybe some would do great. Imagine rats. They breed really fast, they're really social, they're really smart. You dump a few rats there, maybe you would change the whole course of evolution. Imagine you dump a few rats to the mid Jurassic period. Or if you dump a few like cockatoos or like really smart opportunistic birds, sparrows and stuff, they could drive pterosaurs extinct, maybe. What do you think about the mammoth project where they're trying to clone mammoths in Siberia? Could work. I'd look forward to it, to be honest. I don't know much about how it's progressing, though. Could any of our ape relatives survive in the Mesozoic? Good question. Maybe yes, you don't know. Like, chimps are brutal. And like when something big comes to chase them, they could just scamper away. Baboons, I don't know. I mean, some contemporary animals could do very well in the Mesozoic. Also, we know which animals lived there, but we still don't know much about their ecology. Like how many small predators were there? How many of these giant predators were there? Hippos. Would hippos survive well in the Mesozoic? Interesting enough, I think those would be one of the animals that would be at a disadvantage because there are just so many predators specialized to eat big animals like them. But I think like some of the mid-sized or small or like adaptable mammals or birds, they could really thrive there, and they could like really give their local equivalents a hard time. I think a lot of animals have like in the contemporary day and age, a lot of predatory mammals and stuff, they have this like real social bonds. Like hunting dogs, wolves can coordinate their actions, so would lions, leopards. Hoshi says, likes my hair. 100 natural, 100% natural. Yeah, this is a nice stick. I use it to stir my tea and like scratch my head sometimes. Apparently, there's a company that's called Apex Corporation, and they're trying to also clone thylacines and dodos. Well, all the more power to them, but also be careful. These companies could also be scams. What are we talking about? We're talking about anything you want to talk about. We just had like a rant about how life in Turkey is actually better than most people think. We are talking about introducing modern animals to the past, or anything else you want to ask. Oh, the company was called Colossal. Okay. Sorry for my poor English, not my first language. That's okay. I think many people don't have English as a first language here. Me too, actually. Let's get some more questions in here. What if we introduce modern creatures to the future? We don't know what the future looks like. Blank question. This is love. This is pain disguised as a dream. Squid Lord says they want dino birds made from chickens. Yeah, it would be a waste of money. Like if if a company cloned mammoths or like created dino birds or stuff, they would be sensational for a while, but then quickly it would become like a boring animal, like a zoo animal. I mean, it would be a bit interesting, but not as much as one thinks. In the future, tegus could fare very well. Tegus are these big, chunky South American predatory lizards. Yeah. Any more questions about life and like other stuff? It's Jack Horner's Chicken Source project. Yes. Let me ask all of you a question then. If tomorrow you woke up and money is not a problem anymore, like you either have like $1 billion in the bank, or like somebody promised to like sponsor everything you do, what would you do? In the meantime, let me answer. What's your favorite thing about your country, which is Turkey? The nature and history, the food, and the fact that it's a pretty chill place. Its culture lets people just do nothing. And in this day and age, that's a privilege that people don't really realize. Everybody has ambitions, want to be something, but there's much joy to be had from a life that never changes. It's just a plateau. You're safe, you're well fed. Okay, you don't go anywhere, but you're happy. That's a luxury. Leso JD would get a car. They would commission me 1,000 times. Ah, thank you. I would do what I wanted all the time. That's the question I'm asking you. What do you want to do with life? Make my own creation. Yes, that's a good one. Fernando Katecaik says, make my own creations into various media like games, films, and shows. Benito Camelo says, do you know Alebrijes? What's that? Google it. Ooh, these are Mexicans, these brightly colored Mexican sculptures. They're beautiful. If I Mexico, I would want to get one, just as a decoration. Superbly creative too. I would want to spend that money in causes I believe in, help creators I like. Nice. Almost 30 people. We're breaking a record here, people. I think the days where 100 people will come to the stream are not so far off. Stick scratch is good. You would help the Snayad book be published. Thank you. Yeah, it is a nice stick. You see, the trick is that this is not any stick, it's actually driftwood. So it's kind of hard and durable, but also flexible, but it's like heavy for something its size. And I put this end through a pencil sharpener, so it's actually like a pencil, so it's good for scratching. What's your opinion on Celtic mythological creatures like kelpies and stuff, or banshees? They're nice. Ha ha ha, Benito, dime que es albur tu nombre. I don't know what that means. Oh, there's this Spanish conversation going. Biz de Türkçe konuşalım o zaman. Come on, let's stick to a lingua franca here. I'm putting this to translate. I'm curious. Ha ha ha, you sucked. You made Mr. Kozaman say, come touch me. Oh, I don't know what that is. Oh, it's because of those sculptures. Is that what they're named? Ah, well, I don't know. I don't know. Do you believe that other hominids have their language? How would it sound? I think many animals have language. We're just beginning to understand them. And they sound like what they sound like. A couple of days ago, Mr. Kozman pulled out, you mean he pulled out this? I'm just going to play this now. I love this song so much. Ah, can you hear the music? Yeah. Anyways, that was the cat video music. Can you hear me now, or is it all bad now? Oh, no audio. Okay, it's good now. Well, could you at least listen to a little of that song? Everybody must watch the Woowie video 10 times a day. So I'll give you the deepest lore in that channel about that video. The music I use was actually made popular by another YouTube channel, which is an extremely popular comedy channel in Turkey called the Turkish Deep Web. And their story is always about these like really down and out weird guys. And this song always plays in the background. It's like a very tongue-in-cheek, ironic form of comedy. And they're like complaining about like some exaggerated stuff like, we grew up so lonely, we used to fuck stones or something like ridiculous and over the top like that. Then this song would play in the background, and it's like a nice experience, funny, really nice to watch. So that song is actually, I think, from some sort of arabesque music, like some weird music soundtrack somewhere else, but that channel made it popular. And like I always use that song to like relate to weird cats or like things that look pitiful but also ridiculous. So there. I mean, this is the ulcer medicine. It really hurts like fire. Piraldine, it's basically extremely acidic, and you have to delve toward. Ah, ah, ah. Okay, does anyone else have any more questions, or should we call it a night at 1 hour and a half? You're lucky because I'm gonna have these streams every now and then. I just feel like streaming these days, that's all. Have you ever dabbled into conlangs, which are imaginary languages? Can't say I have. It's a whole other field for more genius friends like Biblaridion to create. Will there be a physical copy of All Tomorrows? Yes, when I finish writing the rewrite, it will come as a physical book. Do you like cats with three colors? I love them so much. In fact, I was at a earlier and they've got this fat cat with three colors. Here's the cat. It's called Aisha, the fat cat. And the cat slept on my lap with this pitiful owie, 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 owie. It was just like on my lap all the time. So I love these tricolor cats. Yes. Is the quagga a zebra? I think it's a subspecies of zebra or a very related, very closely related species, but it's all a bit moot at this point. But I do remember like they used to think it was a totally different animal, but then they did some DNA analysis and it turns out it's just a subspecies of the zebra. But what does it matter? It was a even subspecies and populations matter, and they're now gone forever. So it's sad. I actually did film a scene with that cat, but I'm just holding off on it because I don't want to turn this into the cat channel. Xerxes blue is a winning butterfly. What the hell is the Xerxes? Oh, these are. They lived near San Francisco and apparently they were made extinct through development programs. Yeah, press F to pay respects. All right, everybody. I'm tapped out, really tired, gonna go to bed now. It was great chatting with you, and I hope you had a great time too. Peter's channel is going with his brother again. But thanks to all of you for being here. Like 8 or 9 people keep speaking, but there's like almost 23 or 30 of you here. So I know many of you are lurkers. Like, before I go, can I get the lurkers to do a shout out? See ya. Good night, everybody. Goodbye, beautiful people. Goodbye, Mr. Kozman says bye. Neko Echo, sorry, I got at the end. Goto is apparently another lurker. That's been nice hanging out with all of you. Hello, David Gorala. Live long and prosper. I can not only do the Vulcan V, I can do this and like chat, chat, chat. So these are actually hypermobile, very articulate. As a penalty, this hand is a bit crippled actually. I cannot move these two fingers separately. And they all have the swan neck deformity, mallet finger syndrome. Ah. I'm proud of my cottage cheese gecko hands. Wouldn't have them any other way. You won't believe some people find this hot. Okay, everybody, I'm just tapped out. See you in a couple of days in another stream. It was great hanging out with you. Thanks for your time and thanks for supporting me. In the off chance you are just watching this channel with this video, please subscribe, click the bell icon, and consider supporting me on Patreon. That's it. Goodbye for now.